what the science strongly suggests now is that in this field that underlies all existence, the field that I'm emerging and collapsing from right now, everything that I could ever imagine exists, from the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark, to the greatest ecstasy, to the deepest hurt. It exists as a potential. And in physics, that potential is thought of as a scalar form of energy. It means it exists as a potential, but it's not a realized form of energy. It's our relationship to this field and all of those moving potentials that gives us the ability to collapse the potentials into the scalar potentials into a vector reality.
Gregg Braden introduces the concept of the field of existence, which he describes as the fundamental fabric from which everything in the universe emerges and returns. He explains that within this field, all possibilities exist as energy waiting to be realized. Braden compares this to a vast ocean where every wave represents a potential experience, from joy to sorrow, and from light to darkness. To make it simpler, imagine the field of existence as a vast library filled with countless books, each containing a different story or possibility. Every book represents a potential reality waiting to be explored. Just like how we choose which book to read, our interactions with this field determine which potential realities we bring into our lives. Braden further explains that our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs act as the keys to unlocking these potentials and manifesting them into our reality. Just as a magnet attracts metal, our inner state attracts and shapes the experiences we encounter in life.
It begins with the language, and the first part of the language, Rob, and in all honor and respect, is to remove it from a practice. Because when we talk about a practice, and I understand the intention of the question and why it was asked, a practice leads us to believe it's something that we do at some time in our day, in some special way. We set a time aside for some kind of a practice. And what the science is telling us and what our ancestors have told us, it's not something we do, it's something we become. And that is a delicate conversation because it ties into culture and lifestyle and family and habits and where our information comes from and what we've been led to believe. And it's not for everyone. You know, the beauty is we all learn differently, and we all learn at different rates. Not everyone arrives at the same understanding in the same moment in time. Fortunately, it's a good thing, because if we all thought the same and we all embraced the same belief on the same day in the same moment in time, and that was a wrong belief, we'd be in trouble. So the beauty of the diversity of our species is that we have different time horizons. We have different learning curves. And I think what we're learning is now to be kind to one another as we experience our individual learning curves and how we accept new ideas and new ways of living. And that's up for everybody right now. A lot of change going on. We've all been through hell these last, at least the last year for some people, even extending before that. This is where we get to test what we believe. How kind can we be as we express our concerns, as we express our differences and points of view? Your heart doesn't see, it doesn't judge. And I'm going to make an important distinction here. The heart does not judge right, wrong, good, bad, success, failure. The heart may discern. And what that means is your heart can recognize what's true for you in your relationships with the world and other people, but your heart will never judge those things. That's the mind that does the judgment. This is why healing, rapid, complete healing, is so much more available if we approach it from the heart and the neural network and the intelligence of the heart rather than trying to think our way through it. Our ancestors knew this, and from shamans, I've studied with the shamans in the Yucatan and the Maya and the high in the Andes of southern Peru, and the monks and the nuns and the abbots and the monasteries in Tibet and India and Nepal, and the sadhus and the yogis and the gurus, and all through our backyard here, the American desert Southwest, and they're all very different. And the universal thread that ties those traditions together is the role of the heart in completing their story, their understanding of their relationship with their bodies and with the world around them. Because when you bring your heart into the picture, there is a completion. You become less vulnerable. You become less fearful. You feel more empowered because you have this relationship with your own biology and your own psychology. And what that does, it doesn't change what happens in the world around us, but it changes how we feel about what happens, and it empowers us. And this is the beauty of what I was going to say. When you view the 1% and the 99%, or black against white, or Christian against Muslim, or whatever it is, if you view it from the heart, you're not going to have those polarities. So you're more objective.
Gregg Braden encourages reflection on societal divisions by highlighting how our beliefs and perceptions shape our interactions with others and the world around us. He suggests that societal divisions often stem from differences in beliefs, perspectives, and values, which can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. Let's imagine a classroom setting where students come from diverse backgrounds and hold different opinions on a particular topic, such as politics. Some students may strongly identify with a particular political ideology, while others may have opposing views. These differences in beliefs can sometimes lead to heated debates and divisions within the classroom. Similarly, in society, people may hold differing beliefs about various social, political, or cultural issues. These differences can create barriers and divisions between individuals or groups who may perceive each other as the other, based on their beliefs or identities. Braden encourages us to reflect on these societal divisions and recognize that beneath our differences, we share a common humanity. By fostering empathy, understanding, and open-mindedness, we can bridge the divides and work towards building a more harmonious and inclusive society. Gregg Braden also discusses empowerment through heart-centered living as a way to tap into the power of our emotions and intentions to create positive change in our lives and the world around us. He suggests that by aligning our thoughts, feelings, and actions with the qualities of the heart, such as compassion, love, and gratitude, we can experience greater fulfillment and make a meaningful impact. Let's consider the example of a person who practices mindfulness meditation regularly. Through this practice, they learn to cultivate awareness of their thoughts and emotions without judgment, and they develop a deeper connection to their innermost feelings. Over time, they notice that their interactions with others become more compassionate and empathetic, leading to stronger relationships and a sense of interconnectedness with the world. Similarly, heart-centered living involves tuning into our inner wisdom and allowing love and compassion to guide our actions. When we approach life from a heart-centered perspective, we are more likely to make decisions that align with our values and contribute to the well-being of ourselves and others. By embracing heart-centered living, we can cultivate a greater sense of empowerment and purpose, knowing that our thoughts and actions have the potential to create positive change in the world. It's about living authentically, from the heart, and allowing our deepest values and intentions to guide us on our journey.
Well, first of all, I want to say I've never been more optimistic about the world in general, and because now we know what works and what doesn't. And it takes one generation to be in the place where we are right now. So I want to invite our viewers and our listeners to consider what a powerful being it takes to be where we are right now. It takes a very powerful being to live in a world that is buckling and collapsing under the weight of not being sustainable. in the presence of the change. We were living the way we were living, and it was working in that world. That world just changed, and now the way that we've been taught to think and live, the places where it's unsustainable, that is what's breaking. So it takes a very powerful being to live in a generation where that change is happening. The old world is falling away, but the new world is not quite in place. And we're in between. It takes a powerful being to be here and not get lost in the fear of the uncertainty. And I think the thing for me that seems to be what's up for all of us right now, we don't know what's going to happen down the road. And I wouldn't even try to predict what's going to happen because we're creating it right now. If we can embrace the deep truth of the human story, the new human story that's emerging, who we are, and the potential, this extraordinary potential lives within us. Number one, that is a technique. To change your thinking changes the chemistry in your body. It changes your resilience to life. So it's not a passive act. It is perhaps one of the most radical acts that any human may ever embrace, is to accept the ability and the power to think for yourself and to base your new thinking upon what the best science of the modern world is telling us about ourselves. So that's number one. Number two, we don't know what world is going to emerge. But I know this, we must come together as a society, as a global family, and identify the values that we cherish as a family, as a community, as a society, as nations, as a planet. We've got to identify these fundamental values, values like freedom and creativity and imagination and life and so many more, and bring these values front and center so that they become the foundation of every policy that is enacted, of every law that's passed, of everything that we choose in this emerging world. And if we allow these values to be the foundation as we move forward, we cannot go wrong. It's when we compromise those values in exchange for an economy or for business or for the dollar or whatever you want to call it. So we compromise those values. This is where we find the problems. So these are the two things, Rob, I think, is to embrace the deep truth of our own existence, number one, and to become conscious and identify the values that we cherish so that they can be preserved as the technology is being brought into our lives on deeper and deeper levels, and as more and more ideas emerge about how we control our global society. And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, good, or bad. If it benefits everyone, it could be a good thing if our values, our most cherished values, are honored. And it's when we discount those, in the past, history tells us that's where we get into trouble. So the bottom line, the better we know ourselves, the better equipped we are for whatever life brings to our doorstep. And I think that's what this conversation is all about.
Gregg Braden's emphasis on optimism for the future resonates deeply with the human spirit, inspiring hope and resilience in the face of adversity. By focusing on the potential for positive change, both personally and collectively, he ignites a sense of possibility and empowerment within individuals and communities alike. Consider the example of a group of young activists passionate about combating climate change. Despite the daunting challenges posed by environmental degradation and political inertia, they refuse to succumb to despair. Instead, they channel their energy and enthusiasm into organizing grassroots movements, raising awareness, and advocating for policy reforms. Through their unwavering commitment and belief in the power of collective action, they inspire millions around the world to join their cause, sparking a global movement for environmental justice and sustainability. Braden's message of optimism encourages us to adopt a similar mindset in our own lives, recognizing that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, there exists the potential for growth, transformation, and positive change. By cultivating an attitude of hopefulness and resilience, we can tap into our innate creativity, resourcefulness, and capacity for innovation, finding solutions to complex problems and creating a brighter future for ourselves and generations to come. Moreover, Braden's call to action serves as a powerful catalyst for personal and collective transformation, urging us to move beyond passive observation and take proactive steps to shape the world around us according to our values and aspirations. Whether it's volunteering for a local charity, participating in community organizing efforts, or advocating for social justice causes, each of us has the power to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others and contribute to the creation of a more just, equitable, and sustainable society. Gregg Braden's teachings on the unity of science, spirituality, and human potential urge us to explore a more holistic view of life. By understanding the heart, consciousness, and the interconnectedness of all things, Braden inspires us to realize our ability to shape our reality. Considering the impact on our health, harmony, and society, we're reminded of our capacity for positive change. Through living from the heart and striving for a better world, we can create a future of hope and unity. Now, let's consider, how can we apply these lessons in our lives? How can we contribute to the well-being of others and the planet? Together, let's embrace the call to action and be agents of positive change. Thanks for watching.